Welcome to episode 11 of The Backcourt. And haven't we got some silliness for you? We are talking Lizards' latest netball news and even Lisa's Alexander's netball spies. So much mystique, so much aura. Matt Fotier, it's a delight to have you beside me. A lot of mystery about you today.
What's so mysterious about me today?
Just you going to sneaky all black, green just to go a bit camo?
No, we're just changing it up a little bit. Sometimes, you can go just interchange with your style tips and so on. Obviously, as a style aficionado, this is my segment of the podcast where I tell people how to style themselves. How was your weekend, Hannah, to get off my fashion?
It was a decent weekend. Mount Eliza, we went down by 3 goals. It was an awesome match, but unlucky to not win.
That's all right. You've got a note here that I should ask you how you personally went.
What? Don't do me dirty like this. No, I went okay. I went all right.
Yeah, you went okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine by me. My weekend was quiet.
Hang on. If it's going to be in the rundown, do you want to ask me proper questions?
I asked it. I asked the question. You refused to answer it.
No.
You missed your chance. No, it's got here HK MVP, best on court. What do you win for best on court on a week-to-week basis at Mount Eliza?
A pat on the back.
A pat on the back? No, little $50 gift card. The sponsors don't get involved.
No, Mount Eliza, we are just we're a country club that's just fighting to do its best. We're not.
Country club.
Yeah, we're not. People think we're a flashy club that's giving out money left, right and centre. No money for best on.
But usually sponsors would get involved. If the local pub might have given you a free dinner for winning best on court.
If someone would like to provide me with a free dinner, I'd gladly appreciate it. But no, just a pat on the back.
Well done. Well done, Hannah.
Thank you.
Done. Disappointing about the loss, though, which is probably the headline act of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad that wasn't a really painful little pump up.
No, that's fine.
Well, that's pretty cringe. Moving on, how is your team that you support, Bacchus Marsh, after...
Yeah, well, we're going to get straight into it. So Bacchus Marsh we alluded to last week. It's probably the end of our journey with Bacchus Marsh. It's been quite a journey.
It has been such a journey. I mean, they had such a big loss streak. They had their crazy win. They learnt their own lyrics
off streak. It was 6 years. It's an incredible loss streak.
And then they're learning their team's lyrics off the back of a stubby holder. Holders. I feel like we've been on a big journey.
Which is good because I don't think we see enough teams with their song on the stubby holder. No, we've been obviously following Bacchus Marsh since we discovered their first win in 6 years. And obviously the girls got in touch with us via our DMs on TikTok and they said, actually, a few of us have come over from Melton and the grudge match finally arrived on the weekend and it was a big day for Bacchus Marsh as a club. They had a few blood noses and twisted ankles in the early games. I'm reliably informed. But overall, it was a great day for the Snakes. They won the A-grade game by 14 goals. And 6 out of 6 grades got the win. So well done. Yeah, well done to the Snakes. Well done to the Snakes. Thank you to the girls for letting us know how they went. They were live streamed. I did my best to try and find the footage, but I think I needed some sort of login, and unfortunately, I wasn't willing to do that. For the Bacchus Marsh girls.
Were the twisted ankles a result of some personal beef? We know that there was a huge struggle between Melton and Bacchus Marsh when players crossed enemy lines.
I asked if there was any sort of tea from the match, but I think they might have just been your traditional twisted ankle.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the court standards are like out there at Bacchus Marsh or at Melton. It's probably one of the few clubs you haven't played at, Hannah.
I reckon I would. I used to play for Ballarat.
Well,
mate, I've played everywhere. I can't remember their courts though. So let's just hope that they recover from the blood nose, twisted ankles. Congratulations to Bacchus Marsh. We have loved following them. Maybe we need a new team to follow.
We do.
So if you have a crazy story, hopefully no more 6 years of losses. That is very hard for any club. But if your club has something special about it that we should support, particularly you, Matt, I think I'm sliding the DMs
Particularly me.
Oh, just,
you're busy winning MVP every week. I've obviously got more free time on my hands.
Absolutely. We have had some people slide into the DMs though, talking about the shoe chat we brought up last week. So we were debating off the back of Beck Judge. She tried to rock the Hockers. They weren't going down well.
And your stolen shoe story as well.
When I had every type of netball shoe stolen out of my car.
Not just netball shoe. You had athletic spikes, footy boots.
Still thinking about those spikes.
Weightlifting shoes.
They were expensive. Well, the criminal is happily rolling around some netball court.
Criminals. I think it might have been a ring.
You know what the worst part about the timing of that was? It was when the I don't know if you remember, but the negotiations for the SSN were up at the same time, and this is when the Players Association were fighting for their.
They call it a CPA, I believe.
CPA, exactly. The time my shoes were stolen was when that was up in the air, and I went, how badly are these SSN athletes going that they have to steal my shoes?
We can talk about that when we get to our spy segment. Maybe it's one of them that snuck in your shoes. But you're right, shoe chat.
But so we were asking, can athletes wear anything other than your ASIC, your Mizuno? But Kelly and Amy have slid in the DMs and they've told us that, yes, there have been some examples.
Absolutely. Now, I floated Adidas as a shoe, and you said you hadn't seen many, if any,
I couldn't remember off the top of my head,
but I did have a feeling that in the UK, because Adidas is a very much more European prominent brand, and we've had a couple of suggestions from Kelly and Amy, as you mentioned. So Jade Clark and Nat Pangari, is that how you say Nat's last name? They've been so Nat's wearing them currently, and Jade obviously rolled around in the Adidas at the time. Adidas is obviously very popular sneaker, but in terms of a netball shoe, it'd be good to see them enter the game here in Australia. And then a couple other people mentioned that Emily Mannix dabbled with some Brooks back in the day. Yeah, now, Brooks had a great run, I reckon, in the 2010, 2013, that sort of spray. They were the running shoe. They were your thinking man's shoe.
Fits the build of Em Mannix.
Yeah,
she's pretty running and thinking.
Yeah, well, all of those things. And then finally, Maddie Hay was a Skechers athlete in 2023.
No, really?
Yeah, and I went to her Instagram, and June 2023, she posted a couple of sponsored posts from Skechers. She ran around in the Skechers in 2023. She's back to the ASICs now.
Okay.
But Skechers just trying, because they're also sponsors of the Hawthorn Football Club. And Dylan Moore wears their boots, and Harry Kane, England's captain, leading goal scorer of all time in the soccer, he also wears Skechers boots. So they're just sort of trying to edge their way into the shoe game.
I wonder why they've jumped off the Maddie Hay brigade. Are they going to be dipping their toe back into the netball?
I'm not sure. Well, obviously, you'd be a welcome addition to the Skechers stable. I'm not sure who else would be a good option for them. I don't know enough about the shoe, so I need to know more about the brand.
I would happily wear them as like a walk-in shoe.
Right.
But I don't know how they'd fare on a court, because people forget netball shoes, like, we need them to be top quality or else you're getting injured. Like, there is such a science to it.
And are you casting aspersions that Skechers shoes are
I'm
not
just
top
saying
quality?
I hope they've done their research. And if they have done their research, welcome into the market. We need more people, more competitors in it.
We do. We want a free market. They need to, maybe they do one of those campaigns, where you see it with footy boots and stuff all the time, where the players are involved in the design process.
I'd love to see more nervous, if anything. I don't think I should be designing netball shoes.
Not you, but maybe a Maddie Hayes involved in the design process.
Oh, is she the right person to be designing netball shoes?
I don't know enough about Maddie personally, but she plays pretty good netball, so I feel that's a fair qualification.
No, I want a world-class scientist on board. No one else is designing my shoes.
No, she's not the only person. No. But let people continue to tell us, shoe chat, what shoes have you worn to play any standard netball? I'm sure there have been people playing at a certain level. They may have rolled around in your Converse All-Star that you've got on.
What are these ones?
Exactly. There could be some New Balances. I don't think we see enough New Balance. Let us know, what is the roguest shoe you've ever seen someone wear playing netball?
Okay, I like it. Speaking of Em Mannix, she's been moving house, she told the Backstoppers podcast.
Rival podcast.
Yes.
Rival podcast.
Not that we support. No, we do support. We just want to grow netball, and we do love our friends who are also making content. But she shared a bit of an interesting story, Matt.
She did. So basically, from what I can gather from this short clip I've seen on social media, that Emily, growing up, her and her family had a blue-tongued lizard named Leonard. Nice alliteration there. And obviously at a certain age, Leonard has shed his skin, as lizards do, as all reptiles do.
Absolutely.
And somehow Emily, and she claims to be at age 10 at the time, so she's somehow decided to put the skin in the box for some sort of keepsake, and it's made its way from her childhood home to her current home. Yeah. And then in the process from moving from that home to a third home, mind you, how old is Emily Mannix? Early 30s, 30?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's been a sizable amount of time. She discovered that she still had Leonard's skin, which is, I think I'd like to know how. I understand that now she's found it and she remembered straight away. So how good is the skin maintaining? I like that she realised what it was, but I want to know why, at what age she moved out and initially and thought that's coming with me.
I'm taking Leonard with me. Maybe she thought she was going to pass it on to her daughter Mabel. Like, is it a family heirloom?
Yeah, that's a lot of forethought at whatever age it was that Emily moved out.
The age of 10, she went, yes, I'm going to hold this for my future daughter one day.
I get keeping it at 10. But let's say she moved out at 20, let's say. She's moved out of home, right? And she's thought 10 years later, that's a worthwhile keepsake.
I think that all reptile families are a bit crazy like this. Like over the summer, I house sat for Ben Dixon. So he has 2 pet dogs, a cat, fish, and a snake.
Just pet sitting or your kids sitting as well?
No. They were all on holidays. And so I thought, the dogs are probably going to be the trickiest pet.
They'll take most of your time. Yeah.
The snake, though, very sneaky under the radar pet. So I remember when I went over, they said, just be careful. Our final parting advice. When you go to get some ice cream late at night, just be careful which container you reach into. I went, this is weird advice. I open up one of the ice cream containers. There's a dead rat in it.
Well, what else do snakes eat?
What else do humans expecting ice cream want to eat?
I agree that I agree with you there.
Ice cream in there, maybe.
The container should, not be next to another. Like how similar were the containers?
You'd look at it and say that's vanilla ice cream.
You're right. They probably need to put it in some sort of very unique container and maybe rat.
Yeah, it would have had tape on it, but it's like late at night. You just think it's ice cream. Anyway, so my job as a house sitter, pet sitter, is to defrost this rat. And so there's a whole process around it. You prepare
to feed the snake.
To feed the snake. I'll have to share with you backcourters the vision of me feeding this snake because I had to have a lie down for about half an hour afterwards. Oh, just a scaly one?
Obviously, but like sizable. Do you know what breed?
Pretty large.
Python?
I don't know. I was hoping I'd be able to wheel it out as maybe a neck piece, a beautiful scarf around the leafy eastern suburbs, but the snake didn't like humans and would just kind of stick to its own.
Good pet then. That's a good pet that doesn't like humans.
Yeah, well, it makes for a quirky one. But why I bring this up is because the Christmas gift that I received from the Dixon family on the 25th of December, the snake shed its skin. And I went, how cool is this?
That's an absolute cop-out from them, by the way.
How cool is this? I have a snake skin. Maybe I can take it because I was going to go to the Boxing Day test the next day. I was like, how cool a bit of show and tell. I'll bring it to the MCG and say, hey, guys, do you want to see my snake skin?
Yeah. I suspect most people at the Boxing Day test probably weren't expecting that question.
Exactly. And how fun would that be? And so I messaged the family and I said, Merry Christmas. Your animals wanted to give you this gift. And they said, we actually collect these. Can you please put it in a Ziploc, date it? And they have all of the snake skins from its birth to that day.
So they gifted it to you?
No. I thought maybe it would be a gift, a bit of a souvenir.
I thought you said that they did gift it to you. No, so
it was a metaphorical gift. They did ask for me to put it in the Ziploc bag.
Look, only side note about that, so I don't know how to segue from that. Boxing Day test, you know what you have a Boxing Day test? Beers. I think Emily Mannix would be one of the best beers in netball.
Okay, yeah.
Just like if you had all the super netballers or people on the fringes, obviously she's not playing this year. If you lined them all up, I reckon Em Mannix is on the podium for best beers.
Yeah.
Because she just finds the right amount of shit funny. She would find enough of the shit talk funny, and that's what you need over a beer. So I don't know if you've thought about your best beer. Obviously you don't drink, but your best beers or non-alcoholic drinks in the SM, but Emily Mannix is up there for me.
Well, she's got that Geelong aura. I reckon she and her Vixens coach for the time being might be hanging out at the pub together down in G-Town.
Maybe. Obviously, she wouldn't. She might not be drinking still at the moment. But we might even ask people, who their best beers are in the Super Netball.
Well, there's a lot to ask social media, and a lot has been coming our way, which brings us to Court of Law. Of last week's episode, there was a lot of debate around netball rules we'd love to change. And so head to the Backcourt socials if you've missed that. It was a good chat. And I did like that Bianca Chatfield gave us almost half a plug on broadcast when she said, defending from out of court, I think it was during the SSN, that rule, not her favourite. I thought, we've started this combo. That makes me feel good. But something has come to our attention about a league actually wanting a rule changed.
Now, I might be... Don't absolutely quote me on this.
Okay.
I haven't done
it back
no.
then.
So it come to my attention that a team in A or the Gippsland League. So everyone has rolling subs.
Yep.
As we mentioned last week, the rolling
not
subs.
everyone. Sorry, disclaimer.
Most leagues.
Some netball leagues. Yeah.
Yeah. So rolling subs. There's an interchange gate. You've got to come through the interchange gate. So there's a team in a Gippsland League or the Gippsland League that have been allowing their players or have been arguing that their players should be able to, rather than having to wait for their teammate to come through the interchange gate, should be able to go to, like, let's say I'm swapping with you in goal shooter, right? You're on the court. Rather than me waiting for you to come off, I can run around the side of the court to our goal circle and swap there rather than running all the way around. So they've been running that.
360-degree interchanges.
Right. Yeah, just sort of chaos, okay? And they've been running that. Now, I thought we could have a little bit of a debate, just a tiny one,
Okay.
about how this sits. Because personally, I think I'm all for chaos, but even this is too far for me.
Okay. All right, so let me argue in
You're the
favour
affirmative.
of...
You're the affirmative. You're a debating coach. You're in the affirmative. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, I can roll with this.
Is affirmative the term?
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
am I then?
You can be the negative.
Is that what we are? Okay.
I'm saying that we should change the rules.
yeah.
I actually am very comfortable
In
with
debating
this.
who goes first.
Affirmative.
The affirmative go first, no matter the topic.
No, I actually think there's a little bit of cleverness. If we're all about making netball faster and more strategic, I think this could be a winner, right? Because those gates are just they're such a menace anyway. I'm big in favour of you should be able to use either bench.
Yeah.
So
one big interchange gate.
No. I reckon you should be able to hop down to the other team's bench and then sub on from there if that's closest, because it's like the bench can still see, they can make their notes of who's coming on and off. So I think that at a very minimum should be changed. But why not? Let's just go extra rogue and send players to interchange all around the court. Like, what could go wrong?
Right. So I'll give you your initial negotiation.
Okay.
I think a big interchange gate, that works. I'm happy with that because I saw on the weekend the Mavericks, Liv Lewis had to run basically the entire court to swap with Grenville.
Yeah,
and then you can get caught out. But I think at the local level, it's very dangerous to have players coming on from anywhere on the court. Because often, especially if we're talking obviously you play footy netball league, but there is a lot of netball played just at centres, isn't it? Like in a lot of states, in a lot of junior netball, you don't play at just one court. There's often a lot of games going on concurrently.
Yeah.
That would be chaotic because there's
Netball's
players.
already chaotic,
yeah,
though.
but you're on one court and you look over and there's people just interchanging. You know, there could be chaos, people running into each other. Umpires are pretty particular about the space they have when running around the court.
Very true.
Now, if they're watching the play going fairly quickly right and HK's coming the other way, bang, I don't know who's coming off better or worse, but someone could get hurt. Now, I don't want people to get hurt, Hannah.
No, that does sound like a boomer take. I think we're skilled enough as netball. You're making it sound...
you're skilled enough. Is the umpire skilled enough?
Yes, our umpires are extreme professionals, and I'd back
thirdly, I just think, well, there's a couple other points.
You've probably thought about this.
Well, not really. I wrote a couple of dot points. If you're on court, I've seen some low standard in netball played. If you're standing over there about to swap on, I might accidentally think you're on the court already and pass it out of play.
Oh, no.
You might. I'm telling you, it did happen.
I retract my statement about saying this was well considered.
It was, right. So I'm playing, for heat of the moment, you're waiting to swap with someone, but you're not in the interchange gate, you're just over there. I might think, Hannah's over there, pass.
I'm off the court, brother.
Yeah, but you're standing near the edge. You're not going to be standing 5 metres away.
If you're throwing the ball out of court because you think I'm free, then you shouldn't be playing netball.
Yeah, but if you're really close because you're about to come on. And then finally, at the country football netball league and around, supporters might play a bit of funny buggers. They might take that into it.
They might, but I'd argue that that's already happening. We spoke about my teammate Katie getting yelled at by the old lady.
Well, that's not funny buggers. That's just good.
No, well, I think if we're about participation, why don't we decrease the difficulty of making these substitutions? Have you tried playing centre and trying to coordinate an interchange? It is so hard.
Centre would be the easiest one because you can literally enter any, like you can go into any third.
But if you could just do the subs, like they're stuck at one end. It's not like the goal shooter just waits for the ball to go the other end of the court and then they run on. Centre is always in the play. You honestly, I reckon the other day I had to wait 2 minutes to find the right moment to get my girl to come off and me to go on. It is such a nightmare. So I just reckon it's not that hard to coordinate and interchange. Umpires are probably shaking watching this.
I think you're giving everyone way too much credit in terms of doing all this. I'm willing to see how it would go. I personally think it would end in tragedy.
How's it working out for this team that may or may not be in the Gippsland region?
The team. I am confident they're in Gippsland. That's all I'm really confident in. But it's a good debate. People should get involved. Tell us who's right, who's wrong. Who do you side with?
Backcourters, do you reckon this interchange, where should we do them? Should it be around the entire perimeter of the court? Even if it was just along the whole sideline, I'd get it.
I'll give you a sideline.
One whole sideline.
We'll meet in the middle there.
All right. Happy backcourt family coming to a nice negotiation. Things we love to see. You're a big fan of reading netball articles.
I am.
And you're a big fan of Lisa Alexander. So when she wrote an article this week...
I got excited.
Oh.
I always get very excited, Hannah, when I go to Code Sports or I'm flicking through social media and a quote graphic pops up. And if there's netballers on the graphic, I'm like, right, I'm triggered. This could be good for the podcast. Then I see down the bottom who it's written by, and I'm like that Vince McMahon meme. I am absolutely gone. Lisa's written it. This will be juicy. So I've gone into it, and it's an article. It's available on Code, and it's an op-ed about the state of netball in Australia in the build-up to 2027. You can read that at your leisure. One thing jumped out to me.
So we've already coined Lisa the rogue auntie of netball.
I think unhinged is what you said.
Unhinged auntie of netball. Has it lived up to that title?
Look, I don't know what your auntie does, but she did mention pretty early on in this op-ed that she played the Wicked Witch of the West in Year 10. Now, I don't think none of my family members are theatrically inclined, but I don't know. But your family, you might have a couple of people that have dabbled in the arts.
I was Alice in Wonderland in our primary school production.
I was the star of David. Is it the Star of David in the activity play in
you
kinder?
Are a star doll.
No. Like not the main character, like the literal star. So for the entire play, which would have gone for 15, 20 minutes in kindergarten, I just had to stand there with my arms out and Mum reckons I fell asleep.
Well, look at you now.
Exactly. Still acting. Right.
Still
anyway,
shining.
So she mentioned that, but then she went on to say, this is a quote, I could write a spy thriller novel with netball troubles as part of the plot. She didn't elaborate on any of that. It was a throwaway line, but it got me whirring. And I thought to myself, which netballer would be a good spy?
Oh, now this is content. Right. I feel like we've taken 11 episodes to get to
spy thrillers.
It was netballers as spies.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I would love Lisa to go and write a screenplay.
Now you want to do a book review? That's a book.
I would love that. The things she would have seen, the spies she would have seen in her time.
I'd love to know I'd love to be a fly on the wall during the process of putting it together.
Please expand, Lisa. That's the article. I would pay for a Code Sports article.
It'd be a series. It'd be a series.
Yeah. I'm so on board.
Anyway.
So you're asking who in the SSN
exactly
would be a good spy?
A couple of suggestions, right? Do you want me to start us off?
Yeah, give it. Who's your top spy?
I think Romelda Aiken-George would be a good spy, but she'd be more of an informant. So she's not a James Bond type, I don't think. She's more of she's gathering information. She's a sleeper agent. Okay. She's been an undercover cop in the mafia for like 10 years.
She's very tall. She's not inconspicuous.
No, she's not inconspicuous, but she's a good informant because she's trustworthy and she's got a bit of experience everywhere. She played a lot of clubs in different states, right? And she's a mum, so people are trustworthy. When you get to you meet someone like Romelda, you have a coffee with Romelda, and you start telling her stuff you didn't think you were originally going to tell her. So I think Romelda would be a good informant.
Very good. See, I reckon Emily Moore, she would be the best super spy because she's everywhere. Like she's in the middle third, she's in the goal third. She has hands in every piece of action and no one's talking about her because she's got the distraction out the front of Cholik. I just think no one's talking about her enough.
You've taken a very netball angle on the spy. What kind of spy would she be?
She just sleuths around. No one...
Like a cat burglar?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think Em Moore would be my number one spy of the SSN.
Okay. I've got... The next one is Shanice Beckford. She's another option. Now, she's small. This is similar to Moore. She's small, she's agile, and you wouldn't suspect her. Like you went to a room, you're not... Shanice is a lovely lady. But when you walk into a room, you're not immediately drawn to looking at Shanice, right? Which is perfect for a spy. You want them to be conspicuous, don't you?
Small and ducking around.
So I think there's a bit of ninja about her. Okay. Small, agile, you don't notice her. All of a sudden she's up in the corner, ready to, attack you from behind. So I think Shanice would be a good option.
She's out in Perth, so not coming to mind immediately. Okay, I think Lily Graham, she'd be like your sniper spy. You call her in when the team is in disarray. Like the Vixens have to call on her when they're really desperate. She just quietly enters the court, laser-like precision on the super shot, knocks them all down, and then just quietly goes off to the bench, does her job.
Right. More of a sniper than a spy, but I do like it.
Sniper spy, we're going hyphenated.
Yeah. She's sort of like above the action, just like with a laser.
She just gets quickly called in, does the job, goes out. She'd be on my team.
Now, this is my strongest option personally.
Okay.
And you won't get this pop culture reference because you don't watch any culture, right?
Hit me with
I think Kim Brown the artist formerly known as Kim Jenner, would be a great spy. So she's played at multiple clubs. She can get physical. Like if it come to a scuffle, she'd definitely be able to handle herself. She's agile. She's got all of those attributes. And she's a bit Kim Possible. Do you remember Kim Possible?
Oh, yes.
Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see Kim Brown as Kim Possible? Obviously the Kim
Possible.
part, but just I think Kim Possible obviously was a great sort of spy.
Also,
I think Kim Brown is Kim Possible.
Kim Brown, so she's lived overseas. She's
Everywhere.
very intelligent.
Yes, got it all.
She would be number one secret agent. I'm actually very on board with that. On the thought of defenders making good spies, though, surely Courtney Bruce. She knows how to quietly niggle without the umpires knowing. She's just pushing on them enough.
She'd be one of those people in a movie that like would be able to take on 10 people. You know those action movies where there's like 30 people trying to get the main character and they just like karate chop them away. Courtney Bruce would be able to do that.
Absolutely. She's clever. She's got all of those cheeky tricks up her sleeves. The umpires never seem to notice them, but the goalers, they know and they're getting frustrated and then they'll just divulge all of their secrets because they're so frustrated with the physicality.
She just have them at her beg and mercy.
She's strong. She can either fight them or she can niggle at them. She's got both angles covered.
No, I like it. I like that list. We'll put it out on the socials and ask people to let us know who they think would be a good spy.
Can the backcourt contribute a seventh person and then we've got the spy seven?
Is that a thing?
Oh, we can make it a thing. Why not?
Okay. I thought you were looking for like an Avengers.
Oh, well, our spy seven, they can go sleuthing around the SSN. Would they beat the eventual?
Led by Kim Possible.
So we've passed the halfway mark of the SSN season and the Swifts have officially beaten everyone. Do we just call the season there? Swifts take it?
Well, according to you, they can't win the grand final because of the curse.
That is true.
Right. And it was referenced on the weekend. Is it Ben Homer? Was he commentating that game? I believe. Homer? Yeah. I should say Homer, shouldn't I? He referenced that the only other team to be a 7-0 was the Fever in 21, who lost to the Swifts. So maybe there's a reversal of that coming up.
Well, I guess we better play the second half of the season then. The Swifts did beat your favoured Sunshine Coast Lightning 70-62.
It was look, the scoreline's a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Because I think Lightning hit like 6 super shots late, and the Swifts absolutely gapped them early, didn't they? Like that game was dead halfway through the third quarter, which is becoming a bit of a pattern in the Swifts' recent games. Halftime teams are in it, and then the Swifts just sort of put the foot down for 15 minutes and kill it. So, which is a bit of a dangerous sign for the rest of the competition. But
they feel like a Collingwood in their peak where they go, oh, we're just having fun for 3 quarters, fourth quarter, I guess we better win now. I love it because it means they've still got room for improvement. So I'd
love to see if they put forward, like how many goals could they score if they played 4 quarters like that? It's very hard probably to do. That's why they haven't done it. But just in a wild dream, they'd probably notch up 100 if they wouldn't like it at 4 quarters. Who knows? Who knows?
It was Steph Fretwell's 150th match, so very, very exciting for the shooter. What excited me the most about this match, though, was the Lambden v. Watson matchup. Of course, Jhaniele Lambden, when she got a gig with the Vixens, absolutely comprehensively destroyed Liz Watson. Strong language, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah.
This time, they matched up on each other and then Liz had to change position at quarter time to go into centre to avoid Jhani because Jhani did such a good job.
Yeah, she's got her number. She's got Liz's number, which is good for the Swifts because if the Lightning are going to go deep, Liz Watson's one of the best players in the world. It's pretty handy to have someone who can take her down.
Do you reckon Liz is waking up and she's in cold sweats all night going, oh no, I've got to play against Jhani?
Do you think it helped that Jhani was a training partner with the Vixens for so long that she would have trained on Liz for 5 or 6 years?
Studied all of her secrets.
Well, she just would have played against, I assume at training you do a lot of match sim. So that might have come into it a little bit. She probably know Liz's movements a bit better than most other players.
What a great matchup. And I'd love to jump inside Liz Watson's brain and know how she feels about it. Does she get nervous now? I think it's 2-0 the way of Jhani.
I don't think she'd get nervous. Liz strikes me as someone that it would put fuel to the fire. That when they meet again, and she might have a point to prove. But no, really well done to Jhani. She's been this is a topic for another day, really, because we can't do it enough justice. But her season since coming into the league, obviously been, as we mentioned there, training partner for years, played a handful of games as replacement players, got her first contract in her mid to late 20s, and has been, you could argue, the best wing defence
standout
of the season. Maybe Kate Eddy's probably, but they're the two maybe going at it because Latty Wilson's had to play goalkeeper. But yeah, to get signed by the Swifts at whatever age, she was close to pulling the pin on chasing it, and now she's part of a team that will never lose again. They may never lose a game of netball again.
Huge quote. We love it. One of my other favourite things was when you were watching the broadcast on Fox, did you hear the chanting men for Sunshine Coast Lightning? They were the biggest fans. They were so
They're not very creative though, are they? It's sort of, they've got their one or two chants.
That's fine. They just jumped in at the right time, so loud in volume. I know that Nettie Twitter was hating every minute of it. Can confirm those fellas are from the Captain's Club, so like the number one ticket holders of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Your platinum members.
Top tier membership. They've been there since the beginning. I thought, how good is this for netball? No, people probably found it annoying that the microphone was right there, but I loved it. Put the FX mic there every week.
So do you reckon, I've never been to Uni SC Arena. I imagine the rest of the crowd can hear them pretty
I think those voices would cut through.
Yeah. Look, you did hear it on the call. I'd like them to try and expand their repertoire.
You're giving them some new chants?
Well, I just think, obviously, I'm a big fan of European football, and I just think that's the gold standard. Australians are known for our lack of creativity with chants. It's pretty much Aussie, 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 oi, 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 and then from there, it doesn't get much better. So I'd love to see the Lightning expand the repertoire there in the Captain's Club.
Do you want to come up with, maybe you can come up with some and post them over.
Speaking of European football, Helen Housby took some inspiration from her friends there at Manchester. She's a mad Manchester United supporter. What a flop. That was beautiful. And people will get into Helen and say, it's you shouldn't be diving. It's not in our sport. Good on her. She got the penalty for a side. She created a turnover. They got a goal out of it. I say, if you can fool the umpire, good on you.
Yeah, I thought it was D grade acting, but A+ result.
Yeah.
Do we want it in our sport? Probably not, but hate the game and not the player.
It was a physical game, actually. A lot of people hit the floor, actually. Like Helen hit the floor off her own doing. A lot of people hit the floor due to collisions. Obviously, Ali Smith and Tara Hinchcliffe, they took its state of origin this week. They got inspired by that. Ali Smith tried to go through her and the brick wall just put her back on her backside. And Wecky and Bruce hit the deck a lot, and Ash Irvin was obviously involved, so it was good.
Fair play, Helen. Do you think any other players are going to take note of that incident, replicate it for themselves?
It'll be a watch. I reckon we might see it. I like it. More drama.
More flops?
I like it.
Okay. Did you watch Riley Batcheldor's Uncovered? It was released last week, I think. Such a special. I love this Uncovered series. I think it is so nice to see behind the scenes. But her bond with Liz Watson almost had tears in my eyes seeing how much they love just spending time with each other and what they both mean to each other. The spirit of the sisterhood, it actually got to be a bit.
It's getting to you now.
Yeah,
no, I liked it. I've liked, as you mentioned, I've liked all of them. The only, obviously noticed that, but the main thing to me was early on she mentioned that she actually wanted to be an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
And then fell back into netball. Must be nice to have that choice. The rest of us sort of don't have that choice to be an Olympic swimmer or a gun netballer.
I'm pretty sure the editing team clipped out, I would also like to host the backcourt. I think she said that, but that didn't make the final edit.
Obviously an avid listener and fan.
3 great career paths and she chose netball.
Yeah. And what a loss for both the content production industry and Australia's swimming hopes at the next Olympics.
No, I really, really liked that episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. As I liked the media attention around the Irvin v. Wecky battle, I think the best quote of the broadcast was Kim Green talking about how Irvin had kind of rattled Grace Wecky, and she said, Grace, she isn't a robot. And I thought that was a nice revelation because we were all questioning at what point was Grace going to show that she's actually a human and can sometimes lose a matchup, although she didn't lose that matchup, but there were moments where she looked really vulnerable.
Yeah, I really like how annoyed Grace gets when she doesn't play to her standards. So right near the end, she missed a couple of shots. She got the rebound and put him back in, but she was noticeably petulantly angry with herself. The standards she holds herself to are incredibly high.
The post-match interview when they said, tough day at the office, and she said, to put it lightly, full stop, no continuation. I thought that's brilliant.
Not man of the match. She won player of the match.
Yeah.
She's
phenomenal.
So they interviewed her and said, well, I don't want to play the match. She's like, that was my worst game of the year. Which, obviously you had your worst game of the year and won MVP on the weekend too, so you can relate.
Grace and I.
But personally, when I have a bad game, it's more about getting dropped than player of the match. But no, it was a really good game in terms of the physicality, a good spectacle. But the Swifts, there's 8 goals is not a representation of how much the Swifts beat them by.
Would you say that 9 goals was a fair representation of Fever v Giants 75-66?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I think Giants, honestly, and this is a little bit of a quick hot take. Giants I think they're heaps better than the Firebirds at the moment. They're playing pretty well. They're playing pretty well. They're young, so they're going to have. We've mentioned a couple of times they're young, so they're going to have like little periods of time where they're shit. And that happened at the start. So like in the first quarter, they were down like 14-6 at one point, right? From that point on, it was 60-61. So they got it back to even, and they just can't maintain.
They were even in the middle of the third quarter. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I was so impressed. What didn't impress me was that Jhaniele Fowler-Nemard hit the amazing 9,000 career goal mark.
First player ever.
No mention on broadcast. I think they forgot about it. I don't know if the Fever forgot about it. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, the Fever did not forget, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was some stern words said to the Fox crew after the game by the Fever.
They didn't mention it till halftime, and I was like, whoever is on stats or something has clearly forgotten. I was expecting confetti from the ceiling. We're all going to stop the match and just have a Jhaniele moment.
Bring out some flowers. We love a bouquet in the netball.
I just hope, because Romelda Aiken-George will likely hit the same milestone this week, what are the odds of having the same milestone twice in 2 weeks? I just hope she gets paid a little bit more respect for this crazy milestone. Maybe they can just have a quick thing flush up.
And they're also playing at KRA. So the arena will have another opportunity to right its wrong.
Just do it for the goalers. Give them a moment.
Yeah, but obviously the Fever, just a win for them. Like they did enough, which is all. They're going to make finals now. And the Fever they've always just beaten the teams below them. Like they rarely have like a slip up.
Yeah.
Like they never like lose to the Giants like the Thunderbirds did. They get it done.
Yeah.
But obviously some good news and some bad news for the Giants. There was a debutante, but Jodie Ward's out for the year.
Yeah. Congratulations, Amy Landrigan. She came onto the court. That's great. Jodie Ward, huge setback doing her ACL in the fourth quarter.
The worrying thing is Matilda McDonald's still out for at least another 2 or 3 weeks. So Amy's probably going to get a lot more court time, and they're going to have to go and find another young defender as backup too. So they're going to Erin O'Brien at the age of 19 and a half or 20 with about 10 games of experience is their most experienced defender. So, but the Giants, like there's visually, I know they're on bottom of the ladder, but visually they're playing better than a couple other teams.
That is a massive call. Backcourters, I want your feedback on that because that is very, very huge. Speaking of huge, the Vixens' performance over the Firebirds, 70-52. You try and find silver linings for the Firebirds. I think I have found one that Chollock's hold is getting much stronger.
Right. That's all we can take from it?
Jess Langer-Iyer.
Yeah, that was good.
She made it to the bench. That's pretty cool.
I would have liked to see her come on. Now, she's obviously, you're a big fan of the whole family.
How could you not? So her dad, Jay, we're all hearing about how he's on play school. He is such a lover of netball.
Check out his Wikipedia as well. It's not just play school. The man's done a lot.
He's done everything. Jess's sister, Catherine, is Moana. So
the live action is the live action of animated movies, and like Lilo and Stitch, there's a live action series to come out. So there's another one for Moana.
Yes.
And Jess's sister, Catherine is going to be Moana.
So isn't it funny that you can make it to the Firebirds bench? You've toiled away. You've got this big moment in the SSN, and you're still the least famous.
Probably doesn't even get a thumbs up in the family WhatsApp, does it? Would you even mention it? Like if your sister's playing, like.
No, I think just.
How do you reckon the WhatsApp's gone? Jess's message saying, "Guys, I've been caught up. I might get to play on the weekend," and then Catherine's gone. By the way, landed Moana. Yeah, landed Moana.
Yeah, bad
you're right.
luck, Jessie.
She's a bit of a star herself, Jessie. She's got over 50,000 TikTok followers, and you're obviously huge on TikTok yourself. So,
as I said, big fan of hers. I hope she gets on it.
I thought when you're losing by that much, I thought they might give her a go, considering as well that the two Kates, Eddie and Maloney, gave the Firebirds mid-quarters an absolute bath. They kept them to I think it was 60 feeds for the game or something like that. Macy Gardner only had 11. Played the entire game in centre, only had 11 feeds. Kate, Eddie and Maloney. We talk a lot about Kate Maloney in netball, in the netball community. Kate Eddie is severely underrated. They absolutely towed up the Firebirds midcourt. I don't have a dog in the fight, right?
Yeah.
I don't particularly care. In fact, I'd like all games to be really exciting and close. So there are times when it's like a 6-goal margin halfway through the third and you're like, right, Firebirds get an intercept. Let's get a run on, girls. And then they just it's not even 2 or 3 passes down the court. It's like the next fucking pass. They go, oh, right, we got the ball back. Here you go, Kate, have it back.
This is your strongest netball take ever.
I
I like this.
No dog in the fight. It just gave me the shits.
You are genuinely upset by this.
I think we should concentrate on the fact that Kate Eading and Kate Maloney, Kate Squared, took the piss. Let's move on before I get really angry.
Move on. The Mavericks and the Thunderbirds, so Tadanya Gandu, as they were known for First Nations round. The Thunderbirds won by 7 goals.
Yep.
Mavericks, they are in a world of pain.
Now, we're a big fan of the Fox interviews with the coaches,
yes,
aren't we? Because you get a bit of insight. And all the coaches, to be fair, most of them are pretty liberal in the information they give out.
Sometimes. I mean, I say the Giants, they did their best to whisper throughout every timeout. And it was like, oh, this is a bit salty.
when the interview, like the
post-match
conference. During the game, because after halftime, don't the commentators get to interview? Yeah, yes. Right? Yeah, and the coaches are pretty good. Like, there's not many other sports that would do that while the game's going on.
Correct.
Right? And Tracy Neville was pretty honest in that one. She said, our defence, she basically said the penalties are far too high. They may as well be standing in the stands. You've got to be in the contest to put pressure on because they had 69 penalties. So they're out of play 69 times. And she's basically saying, well, if you're out of play, you're fucking useless to me, is reading between the lines there. And they've got the third most penalties for the year, the Mavs. They do it pretty frequently. And I think you could see that Tracy was just the blood was boiling a little bit there. But got to give a shout out to Latty Wilson. She was absolutely balling on the weekend in goalkeeper.
Yeah.
She's as tall as you. Obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit there. But she had like 11 gains, 8 deflections, 7 intercepts against Shimona Jock. She's an absolute baller.
And just so humble with the way in which she does it. Obviously, the Thunderbirds have been dealt some cards this year. And she goes, no worries, I'll do my best in goalkeeper, and does more than a great job. Like, she was just invincible.
She's a weapon, absolute weapon.
I have a new business idea off the back of this match. Yeah. I think Jhaniele Pallavi, she's actually in the wrong caper. Right. She needs to go into insurance.
Okay.
Amy, Yui. I hope they're all watching.
HDF Insurance, they're an insurance fund.
I think they need to get Jhaniele Pallavi on as their number one spokesperson because she is the best insurance policy that a team can have. Put her on for the Power 5 and she just knocks down super shot after super shot after super shot.
They didn't miss. That was a
She keeps teams competitive. Like, it's unreal.
Maps are so good from the super shot that Sasha Glasgow decided to shoot from the centre third. I don't know if you saw that. Long range bomb.
Talk to us about that.
Well, she's trying to feed it to Jock from just forward of the centre circle and she's just drained it.
A bit amusing.
Yeah, it was, and then Wilson gets the gain out of it. Technically an intercept, isn't it? Because she got the rebound.
Just play on.
Yeah. On just quickly, actually, I didn't have this in the running order, but another thing that gave me the shits about Nissan Arena. We're back on that. Their hoops.
Brookie Bakes Bowl.
Brookie Bakes Bowl, Budgie Smuggler Arena. The rims at Nissan Arena are like the old basketball court you used to have at primary school, like the real metal clangy rings. So when the players shoot it in, it makes like a real clangy noise. Whereas around the other grounds, I don't know what it is, but it makes a nice, satisfying thud. And if you just listen out to it, John Cain Arena and stuff, the ball goes in, there's a nice, satisfying thud. That was clean. Nissan Arena, it's like someone's, there's a wind chime outside. It just and another thing that gave me the shits. I might have been on edge watching that game. Maybe.
Okay. No, I'll have a look out for that. That's very interesting. Backcourters. Are you also noticing the satisfying thud?
Let us know your other little icks and things that give you the shits. That could be a segment.
Real niche shits. I like it. Well, tips time. Sunshine Coast Lightning and the Mavs are going head to head.
Now, remember round 1, this was our 50 game, and you were adamant the Mavs was going to win, and I was adamant the Lightning were going to win. I'll tell you what, times have changed.
I've jumped off.
Yeah, Lightning are going to win.
Yep.
And this is last chance saloon for the Mavs. They lose, it's done. Even though it's probably done
I think it's already.
You're already done? Lightning
I think the last week, the ladder seeing the top 4 and the bottom 4, this was the first week that I was genuinely satisfied with the brackets. I don't think the brackets are going to change.
You reckon so you don't reckon the Vixens
5 to
can
8,
jump in?
5 to 8, book your holidays now for postseason. You won't be going to finals.
That's a nice little take. We'll clip that up. Nice little clip for socials. Clippity clop.
1 to 4.
So Lightning to win.
Yes.
Yep, right.
Yep. Lightning to win, Swifts and Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I think the Swifts will win.
Yeah.
But Wilson against Grace, Latty versus Grace, that's an absolute fucking showdown.
Probably the best contest we're going to see for Grace Wecky. I think Sunshine Coast Lightning have done a good job.
If Ash Irvin rattled her, then watch out Latty.
I think that'll be huge. Giants and Vixens.
So the Vixens, obviously, as you mentioned, they're 5th. They're the one team you could have some confidence in making a charge for the 4. If you had to say one's getting in, it's them. No, but come with me.
I'm
come
shaking
with me
my
here.
head on that.
I gave you the whole interchange gate. You can. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying if there's a team outside the 4 that can make it, it's them.
Oh, I'm going to reflect on that. I think the Mavericks would be better play.
Even though the Vixens have won an extra game. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
Okay.
I just think obviously they have to do everything right and they cannot lose this game because it's obviously against the bottom seed. But the Giants are playing better than it looks, so it's a danger game.
Who are you going for?
I'm going to tip the Vixens.
I need an upset. I'm going to go the Giants.
Right. And I'll tell you what. Okay, so you're going to go the Giants.
Yeah.
Last one's Fever Firebirds.
I clawed one back in the tips last week, so I'm backing myself here. Yeah, we'll go the Giants.
My shake on always tipping the Lightning will hurt me when they play the Swifts.
That's right. Yeah. That's when I get one tip back. And then finally, the Fever and the Firebirds.
Yeah, I'm going to tip the Fever, and I think they could score 100. If you look at, so this is at RAC Arena.
Yeah.
People, backcourters, go back in the last couple of years of history. The Firebirds have an atrocious record at RAC Arena. I think they got up to 90 either last year or the year before. And they're playing pretty well, and the Firebirds, as we just mentioned, there's something a bit off and injuries galore. I reckon they might go close to the 100, the Fever.
Oh, okay. Can't wait to see. I'll join you on the Fever. I think they'll win. In front of the Green Army, they just can't do any wrong. I've got one more question for you.
One more question. I love questions.
Who should be the backcourt's first guest?
Geez, well, after today, Emily Mannix over a beer.
Mannix.
People should message us, I think.
Okay. Backcourt family, slide in the DMs where all the social media platforms, you already know that. Keep watching the YouTube episodes, rating us, but maybe even send us an email. Oh my gosh, send us an email.
You fucked it up twice there. Send us an email.
backcourtdms@gmail.com. Let us know who our first guest should be, because I think it's about time. I've had enough of you and I just want a third person in this relationship.
Story of my life, people having enough of me after about 10, 11 weeks. You can ask producer Liv about that. She
That's
had a
all
similar
right.
sentiment.
I've already spoken to your wife.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's alarming.
She's agreed. Maybe we can get a guest next week.
Well, maybe we do something, a sort of side piece of content, Hannah. We can have these production discussions off camera.
So many questions. We'll keep those conversations going, and we'll keep the conversations going online. We're loving all the support and all of your thoughts coming through. So thanks for joining us, episode 11 of The Backcourt.